York City, it's The Hirsh Show. On today's show, a Hirsh Show exclusive, a Wheel of Fortune panel. And now, give it up for your host, Hirsh.
Okay, so you might notice right now that the screen's pretty full of stuff right now. It's a lot of people, and I want to introduce you to each and every one of these people below, because we all have the same thing in common. We all appeared on the game show Wheel of Fortune. So I want to introduce right now Raul Villanueva. Is that right?
Yep.
Christian Dixie and Emile de Leon.
No.
So, Emile and Christian, if you probably watched the show recently, you guys were just on a second time. You guys got called back for what was the inaugural fan favorites. So, Emile, I want to start with you. I want to see how did this all come about? How did you guys get on the show for the second time? And I'm really jealous.
It was a lot of just waiting, right, Christian? It was just a lot of waiting for it to be greenlit, a lot of just waiting for them to say yes, basically. So probably in the middle of February, I received a call. I work night shift, so I slept through a call from Panoma, California, and really random. But it was one of the contestant coordinators that wanted to speak with me regarding something that they wanted to do. Please call me back. I called back like 3 times, like, hi, I'm leaving a message. Hi, I'm leaving a message. Hi, I'm leaving a message. Finally, she answered. And yeah, she just basically said that they want to do a different thing. They wanted to do a fan favorites week. So of course I resoundingly said, heck yeah, I'm interested. And yeah, from that, it was just a lot of waiting. They said that it's not set in stone yet. So it just kept on going week after week after week. We were just waiting, right, Christian? Those longest like 3 weeks ever, until they finally said that, yes, we are going through with it. And yeah, and the rest is basically history. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Christian, I want to hear how you ended up getting the call.
Yes. So it was on February 16th that I got the call. It was literally the day after my 22nd birthday. So that was really nice. Yeah. That was a really nice little birthday present. So I got the same call from Panoma, California it was around like 3:30, and I had answered, and they were like, hey, we're putting together we're doing a fan favorites week. It's not set in stone yet. We're still like trying to decide if we want to do it this season or if we want to do it for season 41. And I was like, are you interested in come back? And I was like, yeah, sure. No. And so I waited as well, and it was literally the way that they got it together and was able to do it within this season amazed me.
Yeah, I mean, you guys got the call in February, and when did you guys tape it exactly?
March 20th.
Yeah.
March 20th. So literally within a month, you guys were in.
Yeah.
And it was one of the very last episodes that was taped for the season.
That's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. They're done taping for the season. I think when we all had our first appearances and stuff, I think every one of our experiences were different. I know the 3 of us, Emile and Christian and I, were in pre-COVID, and Raul was in post-COVID. So we all know what our experiences were like. So I'm curious for someone who's been on the show pre-COVID, what was the post-COVID contestant experience like?
Yeah, so it was a little bit weird, because I remember when I first decided to go on the show, you see all of everyone's testimonies of, okay, this is what you expect when you actually go in person, right?
Right, yes.
So there wasn't a whole lot of information about, okay, how do you tape for a show with a global pandemic, and you can't meet in person anymore. And so basically, like what we're doing now, our auditions were through Zoom. And it was quite convenient because I didn't have to, travel a long distance to be able to, have that audition and see if I make it or not. But it was quite nice because I could have like my little, newsletter board here that I have off of the camera and try as best I can to, go through the test. But it was pretty fun. It was a nice experience, and the contestant coordinators, they made it as enjoyable as it possibly could be in a Zoom format.
Yeah, I mean, the Zoom auditions. I mean, I've heard all these stories about how the Zoom auditions went. When I auditioned, believe it or not, how I ended up getting the call to audition was weird. It was actually from a good friend of mine who told me that they were doing auditions in Brooklyn, and I literally 2 a.m. I'm in bed in my pajamas, and they asked me, how they say, like, either submit a video of yourself saying why you should be on the show or submit a photo. Obviously, 2 a.m, I'm not in my Sunday best, so the photo sufficed. And about a week later, I got an email saying, "Hey, 3 weeks later, come to Brooklyn. We want to see you." And I obviously, as we all did, we all wanted to make a great first impression, so I decided to dress up to the nines. And sure enough, I think I was probably the one who was most overdressed in that audition room. I think there was maybe one other guy who actually had like a whole American flag suit with the tie and everything. It was very tacky.
That's a choice.
It was, yeah, exactly. It was a choice. Not a bad choice, not a good choice, but just a choice.
A choice,
yeah. So, being up on stage, seeing, Pat and Vanna up close in person, we all had our own different perspectives. What was like the first impression you got when you first stepped into the studio? I'm going to start with Christian here.
The first time around, or the second?
Yeah, the first time around.
First time around. Oh my gosh.
Since we've done it like so many times.
Yeah, you've done it so many times. Yeah, it's like you still have a key card and just get access to the studio.
Wow. I felt right at home.
Really?
I felt right at home. When I stepped into the cells, it's like, wow, like the puzzle board, seeing the puzzle board, seeing the newsletter board that's off camera, and also, seeing, I was like, damn, the wheel's so small.
Yeah, that's I think we could all agree to that. The wheel looks big on TV, but when you actually see it up in person, it's like very small compared to what you see.
Definitely,
yeah.
Emil, what was your first impression the first time around?
Oh, okay. The first time around, yeah, I was a nervous wreck. I am an introverted.
Yeah, you can
even
say
as I
the
speak
same
right
with me.
now. Even as I speak right now, I'm like, I don't know what to say. I'm like looking at. I'm like just trying to get my surroundings out. I'm like, yeah, trying to get everything, just get my environment settled towards me. And I'm like, yeah, it's very daunting for sure. And even the second time around, I'm like, it's still very daunting, but in a completely different way. So yeah, nervous wreck, introverted equals who knows what's gonna happen.
Yeah, of course. And what about you, Raul? What was your first impression stepping inside?
I think my experience is kind of aligned more to what Emil experienced. When I first walked in the set, I was just going through like sensory overload. Right, there's like so many bright lights, and you have like the newsletter board, you have the puzzle board, you have the wheel, and what they don't really tell you, at least in my experience, is you don't meet Pat ahead of time.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Vanna at times will go ahead and say hello beforehand, but I was in the red spot, so the very first time that I saw Pat, he's standing like right here. He's
like I was also in the red spot, so yeah, we were all like 2 feet away.
It was definitely nerve-wracking. I was comfortable up until a certain point of when they were counting down. They're like, all right, we're gonna start in 3, 2, and then my heart started racing and I just blacked out.
Yeah.
And eventually for me, I got a little bit more comfortable as the game progressed. But yeah, I was a nervous wreck quite a few times. It's ironic that one of the toss-ups that I had was stage fright, because that's what I was experiencing.
Yeah. Oh man. I remember stepping in at the time. I was studying to be a professional in TV, and so I was looking at all the equipment, all the cameras, the lights, and the studio and all that stuff, and I was just in awe. Like, oh my god, this is an actual Hollywood studio. And throughout the time, and you know how, like, remember, like, the method of picking which show you're going to be on, like the golf ball in the Home Depot bucket, or was it the ping pong ball in the Home Depot bucket? Of course, I got 6, so I had to wait the entire time. You know, like the first 3 shows, I was into it. I wasn't like, you know, just like an audience member, just, you know, going through the motions. And then like the 4th show goes by and I'm like, okay, I'm getting closer. And then the 5th show, I'm like, oh shit, I'm next. And that's when like the pizza I had earlier decided to show up again.
Oh no.
Thank God I went the other way, not that way. But no, I was like so terrified. I'm like, oh my god, what if I mess up? What if I make a fool out of myself on TV? And I'm like, you know, you have this notion in your head, thinking like, you know, okay, there's going to be millions of people watching at home. There's a few hundred people in the audience already, so they already know what to expect. But when come time, you know, to air, you see all these people, and of course, you know, with social media nowadays, they're very ruthless. They are very ruthless. And I was, you know, nervously scared, excited. I don't know what you want to call it, because I'm like, the prospect is, okay, I'm walking away with money, but I could be out of here a millionaire. I think we were all thinking that at one point. And then, you know, it just happened. Like throughout the game, I felt like I was playing the video game or the board game, like I'd always play all the time. It just felt, in a way, natural. So
you had America's Game, right? You were on America's Game?
Yeah. It was America's Game.
The dreaded number 6 ball is slightly haunting me. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And you know what's funny? My mom really wanted me to be on a Christmas theme show.
Oh.
Because, you know, she said, oh, you can get more stuff there. But I'm like, no, it's not the Secret Santa week. Sorry. But it was, I think it was Home for the Holidays. And what was funny was that I was watching the first show. A wonderful woman at the time, I think she was like a few months pregnant. Her name was Jenny. She like knocked it out of the park. Like the first show in, she won like $90,000. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, am I gonna have to one up her? I'm like, oh.
So what was your week that you were supposed to well, what was the theme of the week that you were supposed to?
Yeah, it was Home for the Holidays. It was supposed to be Home for the Holidays, but of course I got America's Game.
I know. I was like, all of that stuff that we practiced like for the week, like all of those words that we were like, okay, I'm waiting for these European words. And all of a sudden, thrown out the window.
Yeah, my first puzzle, Georgia Peach, ding. What was you were college week the first time because you were representing Ball State.
Yes.
And what was your week, Raul?
It was America's Game.
It was America's Game. Okay. So 3 out of 4. But, you know, I'm, you know, the fact of the matter is, no matter how many people say, you know, like the show is rigged and all that stuff, they pre-choose their contestants like based out of looks and stuff. No, they don't really do that. No, it's based on how you play the game. And we are a lucky bunch out of, I think, out of 7,500 episodes, there's only been like 20-something thousand, and we're 4 of those 20-something thousand that had the opportunity. Hey, if a schmuck like me can get on the show, you can.
Oh, you're not a schmuck. Come on now.
You gotta sell yourself a little bit higher there, Kyle.
I mean, what do I do? I'm a self-deprecating man. So I also want to, you know, I brought the both of you on here because of all 3 of you, because you all had amazing solves. I first want to speak about you, Raul, with ceramic cookware, your bonus round puzzle. Because your puzzle was difficult from what I saw initially when the RSTLNE came up. You got lucky with the C. How did you have any sort of game plan when it came to choosing the right letters?
Yeah, so believe it or not, when that bonus round puzzle came up, I immediately knew cookware was that bottom word. And it was because of, and if there's anyone that's listening, invest in the Wheel of Fortune calendar.
Yes.
Because it has great puzzles. Because cookware is a common word that comes up in the kitchen. And so that was my puzzle in the kitchen. And I thought it was going to be cookware, like 100% until after my episode, I told for another contestant, I'm like, I immediately knew it was cookware. But then he said, you know, it could have also been bakeware. And I'm like, oh, could have.
Yeah.
It could have. So, sorry for cussing.
That's fine. I cuss.
but then as everything else, I had no idea what it was. So I'm like, I'm going to put up a C. As for the other two consonants, didn't really know, but in the BioVal boards, I just put out a message to the community and just asked like, hey, what are other consonants that are quite common in this season or in recent seasons? And there were some people that said, you know, an H, a P. So I just, you know, just threw it up, Hail Mary it. None of them were on there. But then I guessed an O because, you know, the two O's in cookware, figured it might be somewhere else. It wasn't, but the C's, that was my saving grace because ceramic has a couple of them, and then in cookware has another as well. So if I didn't have that word or the letter, I might have not even been able to guess it and cash that sweet Wheel of Fortune check.
Of course, yeah. And you did very well for yourself, nearly 59,000 in cash and prizes. So yeah, and you also won a trip. I forget what was the trip again.
It's to Barbados.
Ooh, okay, that's a good trip. Lucky I didn't get a trip.
When you go your second time around, you
maybe yes for the second time. Yes, Bellamy, if you're watching. Now, Christian, I know you were like killing it. You killed it your first and your second time around. And the fact of the matter is, Wavy Ocean would have been a complete loss for the generic viewer or whatever, but you knew it right away. How did you even figure that it was even Wavy or even Ocean?
Well, I chose place as my category, and so when the E and the N came up, I actually really just used the category to my leverage. So with the E and the N, I knew that it was ocean, and then with the, you know, okay, what are some stuff associated with the ocean? I was like, okay, waves. Okay, it can't be wave because the E's already used for ocean. So I was like, okay, wavy. And I was like, and I knew beforehand that okay, they're gonna use an actor, not just gonna okay, if the show was on 20 years ago for a bonus round, they would just put ocean up there. But you know, like nowadays they're gonna throw out, you know, for those of you watching out there, they're gonna throw an adjective in there to try and throw you off. So so that's, you know, that's how I was able to come up with wavy ocean. That's why I chose, you know, CWVA as my letters.
And throughout your entire run, I think you ended up your second time you had Pay Them a Visit. That was an easier puzzle.
Oh yeah.
In my opinion. And you got an infinity of all things. I messaged you the night you won, and I'm like, oh my god, please keep the car. Please keep the car. Because that is a nice car.
It is. Yeah.
Altogether, you had like 130 something thousand in your 2-day total. I mean, that's very impressive, especially for someone very young your age. That is very, very respectable. And then we come to you.
Raul and I are young too, by the way.
I mean, yeah, we're all young.
Yeah, at heart sometimes.
I mean, now we come to Emil. I still, 9 years later, I still can't fathom how you managed to pull New Baby Buggy out your rear. I don't know how you managed to do it. Because you had like NE and that was it.
Yeah. Do you want to know the process, or
yes, of course. I want to know.
Just like crank my
Hold on,
brain
let me
back
get my
like 10
notebook.
years ago. Yeah, because I 10 years ago, that compared to you guys, I'm glad they brought back like I'm gonna consider myself vintage.
Okay, sure.
I'm glad they brought back me and Caitlin as the
Yes.
vintage vintage king and queen of Wheel of Fortune. But yeah, it's not about 9 years ago where new baby buggy. So let's see how do I go about this process again. Uh, so yeah, once they showed the N and the E, of course we all knew that the first word was going to be new.
Yeah.
My process was exactly the opposite as Christians. I'm like I had nothing worked out with. I had the adjective. I did not have the rest. So
Yeah,
so I had to
you
work
see
on
the
that.
face. You look at your face. It's like pulling this out of my ass.
Exactly. Yeah. The face seen around the world. Exactly. But yeah, so based on that, I had a set letters that I wanted to pick in the event that like I'm just shooting my shot here since there was absolutely nothing. So of
Of
course I'm not
course.
gonna pick the W. As we have our little strategy, we're not to pick letters having that we already know.
Right.
So yeah, so I just picked out HMDO. Nothing showed up, unfortunately, but maybe fortunately for me. But and yeah, use letterboard. That's all I have to say. You must use the usable letterboard. If you're in my case where there's absolutely nothing, and you still got to work with it. Just start plucking, filling, plucking, filling, pluck and fill. Oh, and yeah, luckily B is the first letter in the use letterboard, along with A for the vowels. So yeah, I just worked off of that, and then we got baby, and then what can work with a baby, what is in a baby's room. I'm a nurse, so I just finished like peds and birth and labor. So
Okay. Yes.
I was like, let's see what else is in a baby's room or whatnot, and baby buggy was a possible solution for me, and I yelled that out as well as trying to think like what else, but luckily I didn't have to think anything else.
And then just dramatic pause, and then boom, filled in, and then you got felt up by Pat.
Yeah, basically. That's a good way of putting it.
I've seen the footage.
Yeah.
And then, of course, your second time around, I mean, you did very well yourself, and then you were the only one out of all of us that brought the $1 million to the bonus round. You had the opportunity to win. I mean, obviously, at this rate, you probably wouldn't even be talking to us if you did win the million. But in a way, you still did amazing. You also were like 120 something thousand in your 2 days. So again, very respectable for everybody here today. So before we go, I kind of wanted to. I had this little wheel here, and I figured. Hold on. Oh, did you hear that sound? That
Where
sound
did that
means
come from?
that sound means that time's running out. So I'm gonna give the wheel a final spin.
All right, big money. Big money. Let's go.
5,000.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay. That wasn't part of the script, damn it.
Okay, Justin.
All right. Let me see if I can get this right. All right, so $1,500 a piece. We're going to do a final puzzle. The category is quotation, and I randomized, so there's no favoritism or anything. Quotation is the category, and Raul, you can pick a letter.
Oh, dang, the pressure's on. Let's go with the T.
Yeah, I got 3 of them for you. If you don't know it, just say pass.
You know it.
Let me just do this right. Okay. Emil.
Let's do H.
Sure. Yeah, I've got some H's for you.
I'll pass.
Okay. Christian.
S.
Yes, 1 S.
You don't know.
Ooh, wow. You don't know it. Okay. Raul.
I mean, I'm going against 2 fan favorites. I don't know if I stand a chance.
You do. You're good.
Okay, I think I know
You're
the last
good.
letter. I want to say W. I don't normally call W.
Yeah, there is a W. In fact, there are two of them.
Pass.
Okay, Emil.
N.
As in Mary?
As in Nancy.
Nancy.
As in Nan.
Nan.
One for the money, two for the show.
Got it. Nice. Okay.
So I get that 7,500, right? Is that how it works?
Sure. Let's go with that.
This is $75 in casino money.
In free credits, sure. Fellas, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show, talking about our experiences on the show, and hopefully within the next year or so, Raul and I will also get that phone call from Pomona, California.
We'll try to put our word in. Yeah.
Yes, please.
We'll put a word in.
We're gonna be hosts, right, Christian?
Yes.
Christian and I are
Yeah.
gonna be the next host.
Yeah, you'll be Vanna, I'll be Pat.
Yeah.
There you go. See,
Love it.
we're already planning for the future. Move out of the way, Maggie.
You do your law thing. You go ahead and do
Yeah,
your law
your
thing.
law-
We'll take care of it.
We got you covered over in Wheel Lake.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. We'll be right back after these moves.